My name's Mandy Bush. I'm an American from Atlanta, Georgia in the US. I own this bookstore, The Book Spot in Mayadi. I was just curious about Islam after 9/11 and I started to read the Quran and then later read other books and it just answered every question that I had in life really, and about 9 months later I said Shahada. It was a long process. And about 1997, a friend of mine that I knew in the States, she's from Pakistan, it was Ramadan and I wished her happy Ramadan and she just told me a little bit about the religion, and I always say she was the one planting the seeds in my heart and in my head about Islam. So when I did start to read the Quran, that seed had grown. I feel I have more direction in my life since I became Muslim. Before I was just floating happily doing whatever I wanted to do that day, but I became an adult when I became a Muslim. There's direction, there's a path, there's a very specific path and a specific goal in my life, and Islam is that map. I was telling my daughter the other day that I love the amount of grains of sand there are in all of the deserts and all of the beaches and all of the oceans in the whole world, and that is still not as much as I love Islam. We sell mostly used books, but we have new books as well. And one of our priorities is also selling Islamic books. It's hard to find reasonably priced books in Egypt, and the same goes for Islamic books. So one of our priorities is to sell Islamic books, and just to show foreigners what we feel is the true Islam. It's very powerful to just have the answers to everything, so how can you not become Muslim? Even at the end of the day when I go home after working even 2 hours or 12 hours, depending on the day, it's just satisfaction. I feel fulfilled. I just love this story. It's my passion. It's what I've always wanted to do. I never thought I would do it in Egypt, but I love having a bookstore. That's a powerful thing, to wake up in the morning and you have to pray at 5 o'clock in the morning and your whole life is just to please Allah. That's a huge change within itself. My wish for the future is paradise, I think, like all Muslims. But before we get there, we have responsibilities on earth. I want to raise a good daughter. I think that's what I ask for every time I make sujood, is that my daughter grows up to be a good Muslim. I would say 2 things. The first one is to read, read, read. Everything you hear, ask for dalil, look for dalil. And the second is just be friends with other converts as well, because we really, really understand the path that you're going on, and sometimes it's not easy, but it helps to talk with people who've traveled the same path. The message I would have for the non-Muslim world is just to try to understand us. We also have a responsibility to understand non-Muslims. I do, growing up as a non-Muslim, but just try to understand us. When you're just constantly being reminded of Allah's mercy, it sticks in your head. So I think love is mercy. The first time I really felt the concept of love in Islam was when I heard one of my friends say, "I love you for the sake of Allah." That is such a powerful statement, to just purely love someone for the sake of Allah. It takes your heart, it takes your mind, it takes every emotion you have, and you really honestly feel the concept of love in Islam when you hear that phrase. I think as Muslims we gauge our behavior and how we're acting, and we think, would the Prophet be pleased? Would he be annoyed with what we're doing? And usually I think he would be pleased with the story. When I read the seerah, I just think, I wish I were his friend. I wish I knew him. He's just the most amazing human being, and I think all Muslims really love him, and they just wish they could talk to him every day and to have been there, to have been the companions, and to see how he's acting and how he's talking to people. That had to have been an incredible experience.